A work session. We're going to start the afternoon off with invocation by Mr. Meadows.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this time that we have to be together. Please lead, guide, and direct us so that the decisions that we make are in the best interest of our students and the goals of this system. In thy name we pray. Amen. Amen. Please rise for the pledge.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Meadows. Do we have any special recognition tonight? We have no special recognition. Can I get...
Oh, that's pretty special.
Happy birthday. Do we have any public participation? Okay, can we have an approval of the agenda? Have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? We have a second. All in favor of accepting the agenda?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved. Now we'll go into the superintendent's report. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I want to call on Dr. Carpenter, I believe, first at this point with the operations financial report. Dennis.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman and board members, we'll begin with our financial report. The general fund financial report for the month ending April 30th, 2011 reflects that we're 83.33% of the year complete. And take a look at our total revenues. They're at 89.64%, and total expenditures are 82.77%. We're over because of our ad valorem tax collections, which have exceeded the projection for the year by $833,920. So that's good in terms of our local ad valorem taxes. We also see that our other local revenue is up to 166.54% of what we anticipated collecting in that area. And that windfall of approximately $240,000 is related to E-rate reimbursements and the sale of surplus items, unlike those that we've sold in the past. These are related to the sale of school buses and the sale of modular classrooms, and that's kind of gotten that figure up also. So given these figures, we're on track to finish the year well within our budget with 82.77% of the year complete. On another note, I just would like to tell the board that we will have our budget presentation tonight, and also that our state auditors are here to audit our financials from the year 2010-2011. And they hope to be done by the end of May, and we'll present those findings to you. Hopefully no findings, but their information to you at that point. If there are no questions with the financial report, we'll move to our operations report.
Proceed, please.
Okay, let's begin with our business and finance portion of the operations report. Again, we have good news here related to our SPLOST collections for March. They totaled $973,794. If you compare that with February, which was $867,463. And March has accounted in terms of being our second highest collection of this SPLOST period. If you remember December, which is always high, was a little over $1 million. So right here in our SPLOST 3, we received the first 27 months, and it's equaling $23,046,715, and it's averaging $853,582 per month. Just to give you a point of comparison, SPLOST 2 averaged for the entire 60 months $830,490. So our SPLOST collections are going very, 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 very well. Looking at our capital projects, representatives from Cunningham, Forehand, Matthews, and Moore have completed the punch list for the Career Academy. We've all been out and we've had our ribbon cutting, and they'll be working on those punch list items probably throughout the summer. So that work is going on even as we speak. Also, the Newton High School replacement. I encourage board members to go out and take a look as they hung the precast concrete walls. And if you haven't done that, you probably got about 5 or 6 days left, because they're going to be finished with all of the exterior walls that are precast concrete in about the next 5 or 7 days. And they've also begun with the engineering of our roofing pieces out there. So that project is going very, very well, and it's an interesting place to be and see what's going on. Transportation, this is an item of concern for us. If you look at the average cost of diesel fuel purchased during April, it was $3.51, and it was last purchased in the month of March for $3.54. And just to get a point of comparison, from February of last year, we were paying $3.19. So that's something that has greatly impacted our transportation budget. Want to give you an update on our modular classrooms in the sale. To date, 56 units have been sold, of which 49 have been removed from school property. The other 7 units should be removed before the end of May. And 6 classrooms have been transferred to other governmental agencies, and 1 unit is currently posted online for sale. So that concludes the items that I want to bring attention to, Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions from school board members.
I have one question. It's regarding the modular classroom.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's a school that is requesting for their modular classroom to stay, how's that working out?
If they're requesting for one to stay, generally, if they want one to stay, we have enough there, and the ones that we've identified for removal have been the ones that have been in the worst condition.
Okay.
So they probably have some on campus that are going to remain.
Okay.
Most of them are making requests saying, get them all off my campus, but we don't
Yeah.
have anywhere to take them.
Yeah.
So they're just going to remain on their campuses, and we'll keep them up
Okay.
and maintain the upkeep on them.
Okay.
Any other questions? Item B, Dr. Mathis.
Dr. Carpenter.
Ms. Fury.
Ms. Fury.
Ms. Fury.
Ms. Fury, we're not going to do the budget report now. The
We're gonna
budget
do it in
presentation
item A,
later,
new
later
business.
down the agenda. Ms. Fury.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Dr. Matthews. In the Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology Report for May, I'd like to identify in research-based instruction and building background knowledge, item number 1, our instructional coaches, who are Chandria Neely, Lynn House, and Karen Dozier, have been busy visiting all the schools throughout the district, providing information relative to the Common Core GPS. Their presentations address similarities and differences of the Common Core GPS compared to the current standards, expectations for student learning, and increased rigor. Teachers are excited but also very anxious about the transformation from our GPS to the new Common Core standards in reading and mathematics. In technology integration, Mr. Adam Fayol he is our technical data facilitator, and he's had the opportunity to not only attend but be a featured speaker at the 2012 Mobile Learning Experience in Phoenix, Arizona. And at the experience, he presented how our students are creating mobile apps to be used on their iPads and other smart devices. Creating mobile apps can allow students the opportunity to share with a global audience their mastery of academic content. Also, at the Mobile Learning Experience Conference, Mr. Fayol received invaluable activities and lessons that he is using to work with our teachers throughout the district. In April, the technology department, as they do, did an analysis of their work order system, and the analysis indicated that during the 8 months beginning with August 2011 ending March 2012, our technology specialists resolved 13,152 technology work orders with an average time of resolution of 3 days. Additionally, our technology department surveys all employees concerning their satisfaction about the technical support they receive. And this survey indicated that 97% of the Newton County School System employees are either very satisfied or satisfied with the technical support they receive. The technology department also surveys teachers about their satisfaction with the level of instructional technology support they're receiving. And approximately 95% of our teachers indicated they're very satisfied or satisfied with that support, but wish for more instruction with eLearn, iPads and iPod Touches, My Big Campus, and MediaCast. So we're fast at work trying to meet those needs. Dr. Thomas and Ms. Stephanie Hart attended a Title I conference where they learned about flexible learning programs, which is the Title I under the ESEA's answer to supplemental educational services, where we'll be providing flexible learning programs for schools that are priority or focus schools. And we know who those schools are: West Newton, Live Oak, and Challenge Charter. This is a supplemental program, so it's in addition to what we already do on a daily basis in the classroom. We did have our new teacher recognition dinner and it was held at the FFA camp and on Tuesday, May 1st. Mr. G.W. Davis was there, and he was our guest speaker and did a fabulous job. It's important to note that for the 2012-2013 school year, our district is no longer required, and all districts are no longer required to provide public school choice for Title I schools under ESEA. Parents will not have a letter was sent to parents of students currently attending Middle Ridge Elementary School to explain that the ESEA public school choice no longer exists. So those letters have already been sent. Parents will not have an option to transfer their children from Middle Ridge for the next school year. A second letter was sent to parents of all students who are currently participating in the ESEA Public School Choice Program. The letter explains the change in ESEA Public School Choice Program provides parents with the option for their child to remain in the school of choice or return to the zone school. Parents were asked to complete a form indicating their choice for student attendance during the 12-13 school year. Students may remain at the choice school through the highest grade as long as their attendance is not an issue. However, transportation to and from the choice school is the responsibility of the parent, and that's a significant change, so I felt it was important to note that. We did have our grand opening and ribbon cutting for Newton College and Career Academy on April the 17th. It was a resounding success. During that time, we also partnered with the Chamber of Commerce on workforce development. There were a large number of participants from the business community as well as the school system. Our Special Olympics parade occurred on April the 30th. And items number 15 and 16, approximately 8,034 students participated in the CRCT, and 367 of those students participated, or in addition to, participated in the CRCTM. Are there any questions about the Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology report?
Thank you. We have a presentation schedule, Ms. Fury.
We do. You want me to speak to it, Sam? With us tonight is Pastor Jason Dees from the First Baptist Church here in Covington. Pastor Dees, if you would, within the next 20-minute period, make this presentation. We have a very long agenda tonight. That would be great. Sure. Thank you. Topic is Christian Learning Centers.
Hi, my name is Paige Dees, and yes, we've got a couple of people that are going to speak, but we know we're on a limit, so we'll be concise. First of all, thank you so much for all you do for our Newton County system. Grew up here in Newton County, went to East Newton Elementary, Sharp Middle School, and then first graduating class from Eastside High School. So love this community, have a lot of family and friends here, and when I was presented CLC from Terry Butcher, from Walton County, I was amazed by what they are doing in their county, their school system there, and has blown me away. And I just want to do whatever I can to get this in our system because I think it would be a huge asset for the educational system here. I also just want to thank Dr. Matthews. He's already met with us, and some of you guys have already checked out CLC. And so we're just going to present a little bit more of what it's about, and if you'll have any questions. But I'm going to go ahead and bring Jason on up.
We really appreciate this time. The CLC, just in case, and I know most of you are aware, I know most of you have educated yourselves on this program. The CLC, or Christian Learning Center, is formally called Release Time Education. It's been going on in this country for almost 100 years, and it is a formal education system where students are allowed to be released from public school property to a church or other facility in order to receive additional instruction. The specifications, it has to be done with parental consent, it has to be privately funded, it has to be done off campus. And I want to make you all aware there's a strict separation in this of church and state. It is an off-campus, privately funded, with parental consent program. But the program is not to be shunned at. It is a SACS-accredited program. Our vision for this CLC in Newton County would be falling, at least in its initial stages, underneath the umbrella of the Walton County system, which has been going on for more than a decade and has been extremely successful. As a pastor, as a leader, I know that you all want to be educated and take caution before you just take on any new program. We totally understand that. And so we have brought in what we consider the resident expert on this, Ms. Terry Butcher, who is going to come now and give you some of the specifics on the CLC. She's also brought with her some students and one of her teachers that's involved with the program. Terry.
Good evening. My name is Terry Butcher. I'm the Executive Director of the Walton County Christian Learning Centers. We are presently, we have 5 Christian Learning Centers, one in each of our high schools, Monroe Area High School, Loganville High School, Walnut Grove High School. We are also in 2 of our middle schools. We started in Youth Middle School 2 years ago. This past year we started in Carver Middle School, and in the fall we will start at Loganville Middle School. As Jason stated, we're release time education. We teach biblical principles to public high school students and middle school students during the school day for SACS accredited elective credit. We've been SACS accredited now going on 8 years, and we've been in existence since February of 2001. We've had hundreds of students come through our program. We started small, but we will have, this year in our 11th year, we'll have over 400 of our public high school and middle school students studying the Bible, biblical principles, for an hour to an hour and 40 minutes every school day, during the school day. And we introduced this idea to some of your citizens here in Newton County, and I would like to bring a few of our students up and just let them share what Christian Learning Center has meant in their lives. This is Brianna, and she is a sophomore at Monroe Area High School.
I feel that CLC coming to Newton County will be awesome because it would change lives of students and it would change the community. I mean, if the devil can come to school, then why can't God? I never really felt like I had someone to talk to, but this experience is awesome. And I promise you, if you put this in the community or at school, you will see a lot of changes, a lot of changes. Because I have been through a lot. And if it wasn't for my teacher, I wouldn't be here right now. And I feel as though this will be a great, great opportunity for the students in Newton County.
This is Evan, and he is a senior at Loganville High School.
Good evening. I just want to say, I've been through all 4 classes of CLC, just actually one each year of my high school career, and it's just been the greatest classes. I have an excitement to go every, depending on the semester, what period. Like this year it's 3rd period, so I'm excited every day to go to 3rd period. But just going through class every day, going through school, just the stress, just different things going on. It's just a breath of fresh air to go off campus, study God's Word, have, a quiet time, which we do every time before we do anything else, and we do prayer. And then we go into God's Word and just different things depending on the class, like comparative religions or current issues, which is what I'm in. And then you have something for 9th grade, which is 101. It just kind of introduces you to all the different courses, and you go through everything. It's like basically a summary for all the other classes. And I've loved it all, and if it wasn't for CLC, I know I'm called to be a missionary, and if it wasn't for CLC, I wouldn't have been able to solidify God's calling in my life. And they taught me the tools I need to know that this is God's calling in your life. What you need to do, you need to pray. You need to, if He gives you a joy for something, you need to pray about it fast. Talk to someone who's a mentor to you, and then just read God's Word. And if it's in His Word, then it's true. So, thank you.
Evan mentioned our curriculum. We primarily in our high school curriculum have 4 courses, each of which is, we had our chairperson of our SACS review team sit down with us for several hours and go through each course, and each course far surpasses the rigors of any high school course or other SACS accredited course. Our Basic 101 class teaches priorities in life and what our priorities in life should be. God first, and then our families. We teach our students to honor their parents, Honor means to respect, it means to obey, it means to love your parents unconditionally, and it means to bring honor to your family name. And we teach them that family name is important, and they should bring honor to their families. The next priority is beyond family, and we include grandparents in that as well, and teach them the importance of generational legacies and siblings, and how to respond in a blended family situation. Over 75% of our students, as in any other school system, over 75% of the students do not have both of their biological parents in their household. So we deal with a lot of blended family situations. We teach them about friendships, which is the next priority, and how to have a truly trust bond friendship that will last for a lifetime. We teach them about dating, courting, about finding God's created mate for them. And then we teach them about ministry. And we teach that everyone has something to offer and something to give back. We teach them how to mentor younger students. We have service projects. We go to, last Friday night, we had a senior prom at Southern Plantation Assisted Living Home. And our Loganville High School students completely did the prom, complete with a life-size cutout of Elvis for pictures. Had a DJ, that they did everything in preparation for that, and that's a tradition. We go to the elementary schools, and our students mentor the younger students. They go and have lunch with them, our third block students. They go and read to them. Lots of service projects. We also teach our students how to make wise decisions and wise choices in life, and primarily biblical principles. And we've been quite successful in our program, and we have had several of our board members and our superintendent who have publicly, in the newspaper, in public forums, have credited Christian learning centers with making Walton County public school systems better at every turn. So I would like to answer any questions, but that would conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the board, please? Oh, I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Gail Reed, and Jason just asked that I kind of just provide some closing remarks, particularly as someone who is a product of this county, having been raised here and educated in the school system here, as I say, back when there was one high school, and now they're talking about building a new one to replace it. But I think certainly Terry provided the detail as to why this is an excellent endeavor for the students of our county. And if it's excellent for our students, it's excellent for all of us, because as we encourage them and as we get them excited about class, how often do you hear a student who's saying that he's excited about going to one of his classes? This is an opportunity indeed through the Christian Learning Center, if we bring it to our county, to equip our young people, to empower our young people, and indeed to energize them and excite them about not just their own lives, but about making a difference in the lives of others, as I think we hear from some of the testimonies of the individuals that we've heard from tonight. So we really just want to implore you to endorse this endeavor. Again, we believe that this will be a tremendous asset to our community by having it here in Newton County. This is an opportunity to allow our students, not just individuals who in fact are perhaps of Christian faith, there are students who come to these courses who are not of Christian faith, but receive the powerful principles presented in a practical setting that they are then able to apply in their individual lives and then propel them down the path towards their destiny, a better destiny, an improved destiny, and a better prosperity, academic prosperity, social prosperity, and overall life prosperity as they have these life principles instilled in them. So we do hope that you will agree with us that this is an excellent endeavor for our community.
Comments if the board doesn't, whenever the board finishes.
Well, we still have about 8 minutes, and so
Thank you very much.
I just believe full-heartedly that this will be such an asset for our community. As a pastor here, as a father here who plans on raising his daughter in our schools, I just want to plead with the board that we move forward with this. In terms of timeline, we have spoken with Dr. Matthews about this. We would like to roll this out as soon as this August, which means we have a lot of work to do to get this up and running, identifying locations. Our plan is to begin small, as they did in Walton County with one school, and then to move forward. I want to say, as the pastor of First Baptist, this is not a First Baptist thing. And if it ever becomes that, then we have failed. I want this to be a community-wide, church-wide, cross-denominational effort for the betterment of our students and for the instruction in God's truth. And that is our goal. That is our aim. This is something that the reason I'm involved is we got connected with Terry, and we just thought it was a great opportunity for our community, and we wanted to be a part of it. It just seems so strategic that we didn't want to miss out on it. Our hope is that next week the board could make a decision on this, and we could move forward in getting this ready for August as classes begin. I'm going to call Terry back up. Well, first of all, do you have any questions? I'm going to call Terry back up and Paige. If y'all have any questions for either of them, questions for Jenny, who's one of the instructors in the Walton County CLC, or questions for one of the students.
I have a question. Due to the fact that it's religion-based, have you guys talked with other ministers in the community and explained the program to them, and have they bought into this particular program due to the fact there are a number of different religions in the community?
That's a great question. And yes, the answer is yes. I've talked to several pastors. I even have a couple of lunches lined up with a couple of pastors. One of them is your pastor, to talk in depth about the curriculum, what is actually involved with this. And everybody I've talked to have been very interested in the program and excited about the program. And those conversations have been across denominational lines, across churches. And I just think this is a great opportunity as a pastor, too. I think it's a great opportunity for churches to join together. It's not only a win for the school system, I think it's a win for our churches in joining together to do something that is for the gospel, but also for our students and young people. Any other questions?
If I could make one comment about, this is not denominational in any way. Our textbook is the Bible. And our answer to every question that a student might have is, let's go and see what the Bible has to say about that. We teach them how to look up things, how to determine things for themselves. We use a Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, which breaks down the scripture in the Old Testament Hebrew, New Testament Greek, and Aramaic, and they learn how to look up things for themselves. So when they have questions, it is a group effort. It's not just someone telling them, but we teach them how to go and look to the scripture for themselves, totally non-denominationally.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a comment, and you can help me out as to what the question may be. I'm concerned about the state relationship in terms of how it relates to separation of state. I see from my own personal view an attachment to that, and I see from what I know and what I've been informed of, is that you have a well-organized, well-planned program, and it appears to be some form of indoctrination of whatever you want to describe it as. And usually when an organization or program want to be initiated, it starts with the young, and that's the most vulnerable, whether it's positive or negative. Do you see any intent here to further First Baptist membership or any other gains from that?
I think that's a good question.
An ideology that you're trying to expand?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Chairman. And again, as I stated to Alman earlier, my intent is that's the last thing. If that happens, then we have failed. This is a community, church-wide effort. It is not a First Baptist issue. It's something that I am involved with more as a citizen than I am as a representing First Baptist here. The curriculum, as Terry mentioned, is cross-denominational. It is focused on Scripture. And so that is the principle, that is the guidepost. But again, there is a strict separation. It's totally privately funded. It's totally off campus, and it is with parental consent. And we want to hold strong to that. And I understand y'all's concern. Anytime you adopt something new, you need to be careful. Fortunately for us in Newton County, we have great models across the state. To our adjacent county to the north, where this has been taking place for more than a decade now, and the school board and the citizens in Walton County have wonderful things to say about it. If another religious viewpoint, let's say a Hindu group or an atheistic group, wanted to form and do the same thing, I would say this is a free country, and this is, as long as it's with parental consent, as long as it's off campus, as long as it's privately funded, then by all means, I think our students should have as many options as they can have. And I think this is providing Newton County students with another great option that I believe will embetter their lives and improve our school system.
I don't want to dominate, but I have a follow-up. I see this, and I'm personally on this, as somewhat an extension of the activities that some have advocated on the charter school concept. And what I say is, in the public schools, we have rules and regulations, standards to meet, certification programs. How do you address the qualification of your teachers as opposed to public education?
Well, this is a SACS accredited program, and so it's not just fly by the seat of your pants elective credit. The intention of CLC, and maybe perhaps Terry could speak to this better than I, but the intention of the CLC is to be as organized, as efficient, as well-run, and I know that there's a student handbook that accompanies the CLC that I would want every board member to read through and approve, and if there was something in that handbook that was not acceptable in Newton County, then that should be amended. Would you like to speak to that, Terry, on how y'all have handled that in Walton County?
Let me my question was thrusted toward certification of the employee.
Of the teacher?
Correct.
Okay. Our certification comes through our accreditation. We were the first Christian Learning Center or release time organization to be SACS accredited. We fall under the specification of special purpose accreditation through SACS. And as far as the certification for our teachers, SACS mandated that our teachers have a 4-year bachelor's degree from an accredited college, seminary, or university. That's the primary standard. Beyond that, they have to have a proven proficiency in their field of teaching, which in this case is Bible. Obviously, there's not a state certification for Bible. So SACS developed one for release time education, and we follow those guidelines to the T. They also helped us develop an evaluation program. We're on the semester system. Our teachers are evaluated every semester, holding to the requirements of the evaluation program. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just got another one.
That's okay.
We got to come up with seemingly a policy to grant time during the day, and you mentioned an hour and 45 minutes per day every week. And we are on a 7-hour class.
Yes, sir.
So I guess I should be asking this of the superintendent. How on earth are we going to squeeze that in our regular schedule? I guess from 2 points here. What's the value of it?
Yeah.
And Dr. Mathis, where we're going to get it from?
Yes, sir.
You go first.
Okay. In Walton County, we're on the block system, on the semester system. So, and we're also on the 160-day school year. So our classes are long. In our high schools. Now, middle schools, not affected, of course, because they're on the same schedule as you would be, and our middle school program follows their connect times, which are the electives that middle school students have. As far as high school is concerned, being on the block system, We have class for an hour and 40 minutes a day, but we have 2 semesters per year. I know you're on the 7-period or the 7-hour schedule. It would work the exact same. This is an elective. This would be like taking ROTC or band or chorus or any other elective that the student has available on their schedule. Of course, it would not supersede academic classes. We work with the school counselors. The parent asks for, the student requests Christian Learning Center as an elective, just like they would any other elective course that's offered by the school.
Following up then on Mr. Johnson's question and your response. In talking with representatives from the Christian Learning Center, I said to them that we are on a 7-period day, roughly 50 minutes each, and as such, I would expect a superintendent for students to be in class on time throughout that day. And what they retorted was that looking at a site that they were considering, and I don't want to spill your thunder, so to speak, on that unless you're willing to say that tonight, I suspect you should, that what they said was they were looking at a site in very close proximity to the school in question, which would enable students to go back and forth readily and be on time. Is that still the case?
Yes, that's the case. I mean, like she was talking about with the middle school, they only have 50 minutes, and they do that every week, and it works out well with them. So it is done in Walton County, not with their high school, but with their middle school. And we would have a building that's right there by the East Side High School, and we would have a shuttle bus that we would come up with that would shuttle the kids back and forth to the school.
Okay, I have some comments, a question, and clarification I'm going to ask of Deputy Superintendent Fury. My comments would be this, and they're redundant, but summarizing for the board as they look to the very next meeting, should the board take a vote on this on May 15th. This is SACS funded. It's 4 elective courses you're proposing, so a high school student at Eastside, in the example you give, could earn 4 elective credits, all SACS accredited, and the board has in their agenda tonight, for everyone's information, the course syllabi for each of those 4 offerings for the board to look at extensively and specifically. Repeating what you said, it is private funding, no public dollars involved. It is parent consent. You can enroll unless the parent says we give our consent. It is off campus, as you mentioned, so there's no entanglement there. My question is, those are some of my comments, my question is, transportation-wise, once again, who does the transporting? What's the liability of the school system based on your experience as related to that?
When the parent requests the class for their child, they have a handbook, which all of our regulations, policies, and so forth are read by the parent and signed off on as such. It also addresses internet usage and all those sorts of things, which our classrooms are equipped, fully equipped there. We transport the student. What the parent signs and understanding, the parent releases their child to the Christian Learning Center, request the school system to release their child to the Christian Learning Center. And we take full responsibility for their child while they're in our, within our program. And we return them to the school.
Okay. I also would say to the board before turning to Ms. Fury that obviously the context for this, I think, is any given community. There are communities, Walton County being one, where this is seen as a very positive, progressive development that has changed the lives of children as human beings and their place and role in school as students. In fact, Superintendent Hobbs has called me and has echoed that very strongly as to how he believes this has literally impacted the climate of the Walton County schools to the good with the moral education that children receive with parental consent through this program. There are other communities, I've worked in some, where just the notion of even slight entanglement would not be tolerated. So this board knows that there are different points of view about such an effort, and you have to weigh each and decide what's right for Newton County and for its citizens and for our students. That said, the board gets big bucks for making those decisions, but it's really a very important decision they will make. Now, having said that, Ms. Fury, Deputy Superintendent Fury, if you'd come forward, please.
I have
I have some
one
question.
I'm
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Go for it.
Ms. Baker,
The,
excuse me.
you mentioned about who would be responsible that the parents are signing off saying that they releasing the child. My question is, due to the fact if the school is in fact endorsing this program, number one, and it's will be part of the school's curriculum, the fact that they can get the electives there. So who would assume liability, and do you have insurance that would cover students while they're on whatever property it may be, and to what extent is that insurance?
Yes, sir, we do. We're completely covered as far as our insurance is concerned.
Okay, second question. Whose standards do you fall under as far as the amount of insurance that's required? Do you fall under the state's requirement, or would you fall under the school's requirement?
We're completely covered by our insurance carrier. The location of our program, we have two Christian Learning Centers, the one at Monroe Area High School, which is located right across the street from Monroe Area High School. It's owned by Walton County Christian Learning Centers. The Christian Learning Center at Loganville High School is adjacent to the property, and it's owned by Walton County Christian Learning Centers. We're fully insured in every way, meeting every standard. Our program at Walnut Grove High School meets at Walnut Grove United Methodist Church. They are additional insured with us. We use their bus to shuttle our students back and forth between the school. They're close to the school, and we're additional insured with them. They're additional insured with us. I hope that answers your question.
I'll just say that it would be the intention of the CLC in Newton County to cooperate with the school board on what that amount would need to be set at. We'd want it to be equal to whatever the insurance.
That was my question.
Yeah.
What standards do you all fall under?
We would want to, in everything, we would want to fall in line with the school board, in this case, Newton County, that we are trying to be a part of.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. Well, actually, it may just be one. First of all, kind of piggyback with what Dr. Matthews said about superintendent in Walton County. I had a brief conversation with him at one of the banquets you guys had, and he spoke very highly of the program. And just hearing some of the information that you said, Pastor Dees, that you want it to be a community-wide thing and that it should have no intention of catering to First Baptist, and if so, then the program has failed. And that you're still in conversation with other pastors in the community and still having lunches scheduled with them. With that being said, if that dialogue has not taken place with all of the pastoral leadership within the community, how did you guys decide on a location already for this?
Well, in terms of the east side, there's not any intentionality to that, except for it seemed to be the most logical site with the available site, the available CLC site being in close proximity. There's a Church of Christ that we've identified that is 200 yards from the campus. And I will say this, and I think this kind of also answers a question you asked earlier, Chairman Johnson. The challenge becomes finding locations. The challenge becomes finding locations that are close enough to the school that transportation time doesn't become an issue. So, for example, I don't want to do it at First Baptist. Not that First Baptist wouldn't be willing and wouldn't provide the space for free and wouldn't even help out with the insurance, but we're just too far for many of the high schools. It's too long of a drive over to our facility. And so working in cooperation with that church, we think we found a great site. We would want to do the same thing, for example, with Alcovy, Newton High School. The problems with those two schools, first of all, Newton was moving, and we thought it'd be prudent to wait until that move took place. Alcovy, we've not been able to identify a location that's in very close proximity to Alcovy, and so those are going to be some challenges that we'll face in the future. But there's no, in terms of East Side being targeted because a lot of First Baptist kids go there, that really is not
I
in.
didn't say that.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, that's not in the
That's not what I
equation.
said.
Yeah, that's not in the equation. We really want this to be our goal is for this to be in every middle school and every high school in the state. In terms of raising private funding, though, our intention was let's start off as small as we can, make sure we get some people behind this, and grow from there.
Okay, just for clarity. Now, what I was not saying that a lot of kids from East Side go to First Baptist, nor was I making that intention, but I was trying to make reference to the fact if there's still community people that you need to have a discussion with about jumping on board on the program, then when you want to decide on a location after that has taken place?
Well, just to speak to that, we have talked with, now I've not talked to every pastor in the community, but I have talked to many people in the community that are in different churches. We've composed a board, we've composed a committee with people from all different churches, all different denominational backgrounds, and with that board, so this is not just a mine and Page decision, with that board's kind of decision, Eastside seemed to be the most logical start place with the board that we've composed. If all goes well this week and next week with the school board, then we're really going to ramp out our publicity and trying to get all faith communities involved with this. We have reached out to several that we had connections with, but there's much more work to be done there for sure.
I have one other question. Due to the fact that you stated that you had some difficulties in trying to locate a location to house the program, and you are doing it in middle schools in Walton County, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you all considered doing it in middle school here because you have cousins and you have a vacant building across the street from there that could be used?
We haven't technically considered that suggestion, but that's a great suggestion, and so we'll look into that. But again, I mean, we want this in every high school and middle school in Newton County, and so the most natural, easy bridge was East Side. But if the board has an issue with us starting in that particular school,
No. We don't have an issue.
Yeah.
We just, speaking for myself, I just think that we need to look at all options. And everybody needs to play a part and be familiar with the whole facets of it.
And that's our hope. That's our desire also. We want as many people to have a voice in this as we can.
And that's the point that I was trying to make. I think, like you said, when you said we have not considered that, but that's a great suggestion. That's what happens when you open up that dialogue to the rest of the pastors in the community. There may be other ideas that you guys had not considered, but when you put so many minds and heads together, those ideas come out.
I'm in total.
So that's why I was saying, why wouldn't you wait till after you've had that dialogue with all the people that you have lunches lined up with, and then from there, as a joint effort, decide on a location?
I think it's a great suggestion.
Samantha, logistically speaking, what should the board know about any possible startup given their decision ultimately?
Just that this great opportunity is just not in the greatest of timing, given the fact that we're in the downside of the school year, and so students have already selected classes. The counseling staffs in our high schools have already begun the scheduling. Now, we're only talking about a small number of students, but putting that out there, it's not in any of our literature at this time. So my thought was perhaps using the time to think it through and perhaps plan it better, and then I make sure that we have something in place for the upcoming school year. Not this one, but take the year to connect and make some suggestions and have dialogue between the organization and the school system. I'm not sure that the kids are aware, the teachers are aware at any of the schools. So I think that would need to take place first before we just make a decision. My thoughts, those are just the logistics that I'm considering. We're already in that process, actually almost through with that process of registration.
Fiscal 14?
Yeah, I'm just taking the year to partner and learn about what's going on in Walton County. I've tried to contact some folks there. I've had some interaction with them to see about the logistics and the connectivity to the course guides from the state and the DOE and what sorts of courses were permissible. And so it's just a lot to do right now, given the implementation of the Common Core and the ELA and mathematics in grades 6 through 12 and 6 through 9 next year. It's just a lot going on. And it would be better if we could plan it out and take the time to plan. Seems like if you plan things better, the outcome, if you plan on the front, the outcome on the end is what everybody wishes for. My thought.
Would this be something if we did take even 6 months and you were to say, hey, this is great, we've got it worked out, could we implement it for the second semester?
It would be a little bit difficult given the 7-period schedule because we award 1 unit for the entire school year.
That's right.
On a block, it's a whole lot easier. I mean, we've had just a little bit of discussion about how we could work it out in the schedule. My thought is just the planning part of that. You know, if you
in terms of, let me speak to that though. In terms of growing the program and getting this in more schools and getting this to be a better viable option, it would, and again, our goal for this year is just 1 school, 1 class, which I certainly think is feasible, and I certainly think that we would even be an agenda to do. With that kind of momentum, getting some results from that class in terms of raising funds, in terms of raising awareness, it would really help us to then in the 2013-14 year come out with multiple schools, multiple locations. It would be hard to start off that way. But if we had 1 class, 1 school going, we'd have some success. So again, part of our intentionality in that is to start off small, knowing that we don't have a lot of time to plan, knowing that we don't have a lot of resource yet. But that 1 seed, if you will, would be a springboard for us for future locations, for future schools, for future fundraising, etc.
Yeah. All right, one more question. Would it be easier to implement it from your perspective, Samantha, in a middle school to start off with this year than it would be to start off at a high school?
Not necessarily. I mean, we'd have to do some of the same sorts of logistics, and then the transporting students, and I mean, I know that they'll do that, but just all of that getting in place. If there was a little more planning on the front side, I think we would be able to pull it off. But today is May 8th, and there's lots of things going on, and I'm not in opposition to this program. I just like, because I'm me, to plan it and plan it well so that at the end of the day, we're not trying to figure it out along the way. Right. I try to anticipate all of the potholes that are in the way so that when I'm asked a question, I have an answer, and that I can say that there's a definite partnership between the organizations so that we service our students as they need to be serviced. So that's just me, though.
So based on what you're saying, and from some of the other comments from other board members, would we be better off waiting to get more dialogue from the community? And you mentioned that you didn't have funds at this point, so that's got to be considered.
Well, and again, I can't raise money until we get the approval.
Right.
I can't raise money for something that's not existing.
Right.
So, and that's why what we're saying is that's why this seed program for this year, if you want to have the official launch next year, you know, then we have the official launch, but can we have, I guess what we're coming forward is saying, give us a seed launch. Give us something that we can build off of, that we really believe we can do well. And if we can't do it well, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do something that would bring humiliation to the people involved or to the school board or to Newton County school system. And so that's really, we're really not asking, I guess, for the whole program to come into place this year. We need a seed so we can raise money, so we can get some stories from Newton County kids, so we can see lives changed here, so people can get behind it and believe in this program to make it a success in the future. And I think the longer we wait on that, ultimately, if we push it out, I'm still going to have that next year. So, you know, you're just pushing that full launch date back. I'm going to have to start this way anyway. And so having this year as kind of a seed year will really help us build momentum and come out with a splash in 2013-14.
Well, I want to think, we had a time allotment, and with deep regrets, I think I have to exercise, no offense, but I think we've had the presentation and time frame that we have because we're on a schedule. And I think we got to move on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Reverend Dees, as you leave the dais, if there's a memorandum of understanding or a contract that this program has with Walton County, I'd like to see that.
Okay. Be great.
Okay, our next enrollment report.
I got a presentation.
That's a presentation, Ms. Fury.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, I want to precede Samantha's comments by suggesting to the board that tonight, given this presentation, you may be hearing one of the most important presentations made in some years in the school system. That's how important I think what you're about to hear is. So without further ado, our Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum, Samantha Fury.
Okay, good evening, and let's see if we can get this presentation underway. Our presentation tonight, I have a guest speaker, Mr. Shavare from Springboard, the College Board, and we're going to sort of work together with this presentation in that I'm going to set the stage for us to progress to choosing a product to help us transition to the Common Core in grades 6 through 12 and a process and procedure for the upcoming school year and subsequent years. And Alex has the detailed knowledge of the product itself, so he's going to talk about the product. So my presentation will just set the stage. So I'm sure you're all aware of the Common Core, and we are beginning to chart the course. We've actually started at the beginning of the school year. So there has been a need for change, and the National Governors Association and the Council of Chief State School Officers developed a common set of college and career readiness standards in English, language arts, and math. And in Georgia, the DOE developed crosswalks of the current Georgia performance standards and the Common Core state standards, and the result is an integrated curriculum that reflects the current Georgia performance standards and the revisions to the GPS, as they're known, and the Common Core state standards, and is referred to now as the CCGPS. And that's where we're headed in the upcoming school year in English and mathematics. The standards identified by the CCGPS and the Common Core state standards align with college and workplace expectations. They include rigorous content and application of knowledge. They are based on research and evidence, build upon strengths and lessons of current state standards, and that's where we looked at the GPS to see where we were and learned some lessons from there, and are informed by frameworks from top performing countries. So with that information, we set a plan in motion this beginning of this school year and part of last school year. In the elementary programs, the things that we've accomplished to this point is the DOE has put out some webinars to help our teachers understand what the Common Core GPS entail. We've conducted workshops in math and English language arts, and those workshops have been led by our instructional coach in elementary schools, Karen Dozier. We've had additional workshops along the way in the elementary schools to discuss current resources, because it's going to cause, the CCGPS and the Common Core will cause us to have to kind of rethink some of our resources and realign our resources. So at this point, we've identified and inventoried available resources, text, and leveled readers to see what we have that meets the needs of the Common Core GPS as it's put out there. Uh-oh. Oh, we lost everything. Sorry. It's a great presentation.
Send it to us.
Yeah, I don't know. No, we didn't do anything. I don't know why it's doing that. But that's the way things go when you're doing using technology, and just shut down on me. Yeah. Is that? Tell me to hurry up. Hurry up.
No, it's 8 o'clock. It shuts down.
You're right. It shuts us down at 8 o'clock. Sorry, everybody. Well, just think yours. We won't do that too.
Is it the power's on, right? Yeah. Just plug it in.
Yeah, it's just taking a really long time. If we were not in the middle of this, it would be ready to go. Just log right in and go. Just takes forever when you're waiting.
Your birthday, we always have a board meeting on your birthday. Questions, how old are you?
You still a baby. I'll be 62. Yep. You look so good.
I remember when I was younger, I never thought I'd be 35.
It's just one. It just happens to be a really big one. Okay, so is it not there anymore?
I'm ready.
Okay.
All my kids come.
I've got it on this. I've still got my jump drive open yet, so. Huh? Yeah, I got it back here. I didn't think I had it.
Yeah, I've got this here. What's the name of it?
That's Charlie McCorson and the other one.
Oh, you got it?
And that was this one. No.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get to where we left off. The good news is when you chart a course, sometimes there's a bump in the road, and so we're prepared to handle the bumps. We're just taking them one step at a time.
Slower.
It's one of those
Yeah, go ahead.
things I don't
Still loading. Okay. Thank you. Let me take us to. So I just finished explaining what we've done so far this year in our elementary schools in preparation for implementing the Common Core in reading, language arts, and mathematics. In our secondary schools, we have also viewed the DOE webinars. We've had administrator awareness briefings where our instructional coaches have met with the administrative teams and talked about implementation and what that will require of them as school leaders. We've had one-day Common Core overviews led by Ms. House and Ms. Neely, and then we've had what we call two-day core academies, trying to prepare teachers to embrace the Common Core GPS and understand where the intricacies lie and the differences. And then we've embarked upon the resource assessments, identifying what will we need in math and English language arts in order to match the rigor required of the Common Core. So along the journey, we had a discovery, and it happened in a college board meeting in February. As you well know, we administer the PSAT to all 10th grade students, and we started that practice just a few years ago. And in doing that, we were looking at holes in the curriculum up through the 9th grade. And in our meeting, our PSAT results indicate that there was a need to strengthen the pipeline. And what we mean by the pipeline is when the kids move up into the high schools to ensure that they're prepared to pass, or not pass, but to do well on a PSAT or an SAT or an ACT. And the results of, we get that information from the PSAT results. And we had our principals from our high schools in our meeting and talk through the data. one of the things that we need to be very cognizant of is ensuring that our students are prepared for post-secondary opportunities. That just doesn't mean going to college. That also means entering the workforce prepared to work in the companies and prepared to read informational texts and extrapolate ideas and create new ideas based on what you've read in these informational texts. In this discussion, we talked about Springboard as a product. College Board didn't talk about it. We were just exploring, given the fact that we knew that we had a very large undertaking in implementing the Common Core and just the resources alone. So Springboard was just one of the pieces of literature. So we began to ask some questions. And what we learned about Springboard is it was developed by the College Board. So it's a curriculum that's not any slouch. It's a strong curriculum. The College Board actually sat at the table in the development of the Common Core state standards, so we've got some credibility with the curriculum. It's correlated with the Common Core standards. It addresses our district strategic plan with special attention to research-based instructional strategies and building background knowledge. So the product itself fits right into what our current emphases are. It provides a more strategic emphasis on academic vocabulary, and if you'll remember, we've spent lots of time identifying academic vocabulary in all of the core content areas, and we've done that work, but Springboard has it embedded right in the product. It also includes interactive notebooks in English and mathematics. It's in the text itself. These are consumable materials. So there's media literacy, problem solving, critical thinking, and then conceptual understanding, all which is required of this new Common Core. It is a unified, articulated curriculum, and it's aligned with rigorous college and workplace expectations. I mean, we've heard many times to date the requirements of our students, even if they exit just with a high school diploma, what challenges they face in front of them. We have a responsibility to ensure that they're prepared. Some considerations, time and money. So while we were exploring Springboard, we posed lots of questions about time. How do we do this? Can we do this? Do we have the resources to make it happen? And these are the things that we looked at as far as the resources are concerned. The Springboard product and the way that you purchase the product provides flexibility. Next year, during the next school year, we would embark upon a mathematics textbook adoption. If we pick and use Springboard this year, we will not have to do that. And typically, you assign to a textbook adoption, particularly in the secondary schools, a price tag of just over $1 million. Well, the way that this product works, it's a consumable text, and every year we purchase new materials. So the initial purchase is, it's $100,000, say, for mathematics. These are just rough numbers. I'm not telling you the truth with the numbers. I'm just telling you how it works. And so that every year we would expend that. So it's sort of like purchasing a new textbook every year, and you don't have to come up with $1 million tomorrow for the textbook adoption. It's just $100,000 or $150,000, and we'll get into the numbers in the board item. It addresses the concern of our English teachers. I've had many conversations with our high school English teachers about American literature and world literature being flipped so that they are taught with a different history. So American Lit is taught with world history, and world literature is taught with American history. So there's a process to flip those back to get them properly aligned with the Common Core. And in order to do that, we've examined many options, such as purchasing used textbooks. We talked about using and capitalizing on technology and trying to think to the future and what we could do with technology. And the textbook venture would cost us in excess of $100,000 to $130,000 for a one-time purchase that we would only need it for the 1 year, and then the courses would be flipped. So it seemed kind of not financially responsible to do something like that. The technology, Dr. Shattuck and I partnered, and he had his team look at some of the technical devices out there, but we're not sure that our teachers are prepared to jump right into that next school year to implement a curriculum using technology without any additional resources. So we sort of scratched that as an option. And those options were considered prior to the introduction of Springboard. So we were looking for a resolution for the English issue. Of course, it enables students to learn best practice because they're using and writing in the materials. They're highlighting and circling, and they're learning the reading strategies that they'll need to be successful in college or in the workplace. Teachers and students will have access to the most recent materials because as the College Board updates the Springboard product, every year we get a new textbook. So if they discover that X, Y, and Z is the best thing and they put it in their new textbook, we don't have to wait 5 more years to get it. We get it the very next school year. So that's a very attractive prospect, having cutting-edge textbooks. And of course, they are consumable, and they have embedded assessments in the product itself. Of course, time, on the time side, there's multiple pieces in here that we considered. It scaffolds learning for students who struggle. So there are strategies right in the product that helps us make sure that we're working with kids who struggle, scaffolded learning. But all students experience a rigorous curriculum that prepares them for these post-secondary opportunities. Teachers have to attend a required three-day workshop. Then we would identify teachers to prepare a year-long curriculum map. So that work would be done, and it would look at the state GPS and would look at the Springboard product and their recommendations as well. But the Springboard folks who have experience would be there leading the way and helping us prepare these curriculum maps that would meet the needs of the Common Core. Administrators are required to attend professional development so that they know what to look for in a quote-unquote Springboard classroom. There's content-specific professional learning. We've heard lots of things from many of our teachers about the rigor of the Common Core, and that many of them feel that maybe they don't have the background knowledge to get as deep as they need to. With this product, Springboard, we have access to content-specific professional learning where they'll teach us how to teach Algebra 1, Coordinate Algebra 1, how to teach Math 1 in the 6th grade, so that our teachers are not learning only strategies to teach, but also the content. Of course, I've already said it aligns with the strategic plan and it incorporates interactive note-taking. Decision making. So what did we do? The question we ask is Springboard the tool that we want to use to implement the Common Core GPS? This is the steps that we undertook. We had a material review with content specialists, and content specialists are people who we work with who are experts in their areas, and those 2 areas were math and English. And we sat down with the materials and we went through them. They took them back to their schools. They looked through them and they gave us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We're not interested, or this looks kind of promising. We need more information. That's what we heard back. This is promising, but we need more information. So we set up an awareness workshop with Alex, and Alex actually brought in an English teacher and a math teacher to talk to our English and math teachers. At these awareness sessions, we had administrator, special education director, and the coordinators, and of course some of our special ed teachers. We had content leaders and department chairs, and those folks went back to their buildings and talked to their school level teachers to determine, this is what we know, is this something we want to do, given the option. The option is that we do it on our own, and we sit down and we map the curriculum and we align our resources. And at the end of the day, we got a resounding approval from teachers and administrators. In our sessions, I do a thumbs up, thumbs to the side, and thumbs down, and I got maybe 2 thumbs to the side in math and a thumb down in English, and that was it of all the people involved. So that was a promising prospect for us.